Hey guys, Captain Mike. Welcome to Whiskey and Witerature. I talk about whiskey and books, and today it is whiskey. We're pre-gaming with Irish whiskey. Not because Notre Dame's playing today, but because Mrs. Captain and I are going to Ireland in about a week and a half for my birthday. And I know you shouldn't go to Ireland in November. Everybody says that, but it's my birthday, and we've done international trips, quite a few of them in the past 7 or 8 years. We've been to 8 different international countries, so we're pretty excited to go to Ireland, and that's why we're going in November. But we have distillery tours booked at 3 distilleries, and I realized that 2 of those I had never even had their whiskey. And I wanted to be able to say when I go to the distillery, of course I've had some of your whiskey. So yesterday I went around and I had to go to 5 different stores to find Kilbeggan and Dingle. Method of Madness, this is from the Midleton Jameson Distillery in Cork, and I have numerous of their bottles, and I had to go dig these out of my storage unit. But here we are. But we're going to talk about the bottles and then have some of the whiskey and tell you what I think. Okay, Kilbeggan lays claim to being the oldest distillery in Ireland, licensed at 1757. So that's pretty old. I expect this distillery tour to be pretty different than the other tours that I've done, in the sense that it's going to be a bunch of old stuff, steam engine, just water wheels, just the oldest pot still in Ireland. There's things like this. That's what I expect from the Kilbeggan distillery. This is their base spirit, traditional Irish whiskey. It's blended, double distilled, bottled at 80 proof. I paid $25 for this bottle, and it's a screw top, if that tells you anything. But I am pretty excited to go to their distillery. Dingle is going to be a very different experience. This is a newer distillery. I think they were founded in 2012. So it's going to be a completely different experience than Kilbeggan. This is a single malt, triple distilled, aged in bourbon and sherry cask, bottled at 46.3 ABV, and non-chill filtered. And I paid $65 for this. We're going to make our way from Dublin over to Kilbeggan, Cliffs of Moher, spend the night there, get on down through the Ring of Kerry, down to the Dingle Peninsula, spend the night at Dingle and the peninsula there, and then do a distillery tour, and then head over through the southern part of the Ring of Kerry to Cork, spend the night there, and then we're going to do a distillery tour at the Midleton Jameson Distillery. I'm a big fan of Midleton, probably more than Jameson, but I'm a fan of all the whiskey that these guys put out. Jameson 18 I think is really good, the Midleton very rare, and the Method of Madness. I think of the Method of Madness as kind of a craft distillery within the distillery. I have probably 5 or 6 of their different expressions, and they're all very different. This one is a single malt, aged in bourbon barrels and selectively finished in French oak cask, bottled at 46 ABV, non-chill filtered. I bought this in 2023 early, and I paid $72 for it. The cool thing about Method of Madness, and that's not a brand that many people here have heard or experienced. It's kind of experimental. They have single malts, single grains, pot stills, and they're always aged and done something kind of different to make it unique and interesting. Probably their well-known expression is a chestnut cask one, and that one is really good. If you ever had a chance to pick one of those up, I think that you should. But I paid, like I said, $72 for this in 2023, and I've really enjoyed it. If you have any thoughts on Ireland, about any of the distilleries, we're probably pretty well booked up outside of Dublin. We have a little time if we kind of maybe hit another distillery just to do a tasting or something like that, then that would be cool. But we do have the first night and the last night will be in Dublin, and those are pretty open. So if you have any ideas of any hot spots to hit, whether that's distilleries or pubs or bookstores for that matter, then feel free to let us know in the comment section below. All right, let's get to the whiskey. And if you've had any of Kilbeggan, let me know. Dingle, certainly. And if you're one of the few people who've had Method of Madness, shout it out in the comments below what your thoughts are. All right, Kilbeggan blended Irish whiskey, $25. And I don't mind it. It's soft on the nose, some sweet vanilla, just kind of pleasant and light. It's nice. Cheers. These are all non-age stated. Neither on the website or on the bottles does it say how old they are. You know, it's a bit grainy, a little malty. Again, it's just light. Some of that nice vanilla. Just a touch of spice. Hardly any at all, but just a tiny bit of thread. Enough to give it just a little contrast with the rest of the pour. For 25 bucks, you're not expecting much, and you don't get much. This is the kind of whiskey that, you know, I use as a mixer. If I'm going to have a nice pour, maybe I'll have a small pour of this first. Or after I've had several other pours of something, but I'm not ready to call it a night yet, Kilbeggan. This would be the perfect, like, end of the night pour when you've already had several other pours, but you don't quite want to stop yet. This would fit the bill pretty well. Certainly for 25 bucks, you know, it's nice to have on the shelf. Certainly an inoffensive whiskey. And I've had a couple small pours of Dingle, and I already know what to expect. And I say this is an inoffensive whiskey, and I know I'm not going to be able to say the same for this. I've had it sitting there for 25 minutes now, so hopefully it's opened up a little bit and better than what we had, than our experience with it last night. Dingle, they're a single malt, non-age stated, triple distilled Irish whiskey. 65 bucks. Oh my gosh. Do you like Dingle? Have you had Dingle? Is it like something that you... This reminds me, it's a rich and potent nose, and not in a good way. I've done lots of distillery tours. I mean, I don't know, probably at least 45 distillery tours. Some of them I've done more than once at a distillery, so probably 30 different distilleries at least. And a lot of them, when you're going through, you get to a certain point on almost every distillery tour, and they tell you how whiskey's made. These are the heads and the hearts and the tails, and they pour some on your hands and you can smell it. That's what we have here. Like, we were having some of this last night, and we're like, it is so bad. And I was like, you know what this is? It is like when you're smelling the heads and the tails on a distillery tour. It's very chemically, it's harsh, it's rough. I don't want to drink it. I don't want to have any of this. I'm going to for science. I find that thoroughly unpleasant. I find that to be a terrible pour. I had some Bull Run tequila finished whiskey a few months ago, and that's by far the worst whiskey I've had in a very long time. This Dingle comes close. It does. I don't, I'm not going to have any more of it. I can't do it. I mean, Mrs. Captain asked me, what do I do with bottles that I don't like? And I tell her I just put them on the shelf, and they just kind of sit there. Of course, we're in our FEMA apartment right now while we're going through building a new house. So this is just going to go into the storage unit and sit there. And I don't know why. I don't know why I even keep it. Like, it is. It smells and it tastes like that chemical, almost a hand sanitizer type note. And it does say, and I'm going to read this to you. It says hand cut from the edge. What does that mean exactly? I don't know. Hand cut from the edge on the back. Our whiskey is distilled at the edge. Literally, like every process in its journey from malt to barley to the contents of this bottle, the cut from heads to hearts is done by hand. Truly hand cut from the edge. Well, I think Dingle took it to the edge and went too far with this bottle, this single malt. It is almost undrinkable to me. So I'm not going to have any more of this, and it is what it is. It makes me less excited. I mean, I'm still interested in going and doing the distillery tour, perhaps to see, I mean, is this their flavor profile? If this is a flavor profile from Dingle, I don't know how they're still in business. And I know that sounds pretty harsh, but I feel like the whiskey itself is very harsh. So there you go. I'm going to have another sip of water. Like, if you're a fan, let me know. And Mrs. Captain said maybe I should cut it with some water, but I mean, I can't imagine water doing this any good. I mean, maybe I'll come back to that later. Okay, Method of Madness. This is their single malt, finished in French oak casks. Oh, what a difference. You know, and coming from this, it's just so pleasant on the nose. Pleasant, it's present, it's bright, it's floral, kind of like a honeysuckle. Honey. I grew up in Charleston, and we had this big honeysuckle bush that separated our yard with our neighbors. And we go out and we'd pull the, I was going to say stems, but the stamens, I think, from the flowers, and that fragrance would come out. And that's just a beautiful, beautiful, nice nose. Yes, yes. It's a little malty, little honeysuckle, sweetness, present, bright. Love it. Cheers. That, I think, is a really nice pour. It is rich, and I said this was rich and potent, but not in a good way. This is rich in a nice, beautiful way. It's that honeyness. There's some vanilla. It's a bit malty, and it actually has a little nuttiness to it as well. A little nuttiness. Again, a bit floral, malty, sweet, but there's actually a nice spicy component that's just kind of balancing out the rest of the sweet notes. It's got like a nice cinnamon note. So I'm gonna say floral, bright, sweet, but a little spicy. And this was like really little amount of spice. This is a nice and brighter cinnamon, which just complements all the other notes in the whiskey. Overall, I find this to be a very engaging pour. It's one that I enjoy. Like, I think all of the Method of Madness, I really enjoyed their differentness. They've all been pretty nice. And I think this one is no, I could have grabbed any one of my Method of Madness bottles. I think it would have been a nice pour. So I'm pretty excited to go again to their distillery in Cork and see exactly, you know, what they have to say about this. What bottles do they have? And if I can bring any kind of stuff from any one of these distilleries back into the States that I can't get here. I mean, it's a big deal even when I go to Kentucky and I'm looking for bottles, or Utah, or really anywhere, and I'm looking for bottles. What I really try and do is not bring bottles back to Florida that I can buy here. It doesn't make any sense to go to Kentucky and buy Buffalo Trace and bring it back down here when I can just go to the store and get it cheaper than at the distillery. So it doesn't make any sense to go to Ireland and buy this same bottle or this same bottle. But do they have a Dingle that I might actually like, that I would want to bring back, that I can't buy here? That's what I'll be looking for in Ireland. And so any suggestions, again, I would love to hear them. Definitely my thoughts on these three pours are: Dingle is crap. This is a worthy pour for 25 bucks. This is a really good pour for 72 bucks. Whatever the price is now, I don't know. But I think if you can find any of the Method Madness, I think you should pick them up and give them a try. You know, it's a nice, I know a lot of it's just like to drink what we drink. I mean, I'm kind of doing this, so I drink a lot of different whiskeys. But I do tell guys when I'm at work or other friends, I'm like, dude, like, get out of that Evan Williams or just drinking Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. Like, try something else. Like, just see what else is out there. Especially, I think, if you've been drinking something almost exclusively for a long time, and you try something like this. Don't try these ones, but you try something different, and it might be like, wow, that's so good. It's like, get out of that shell a little bit. Anyway, guys, I'm pretty excited to go to Ireland. Again, any tips, let us know. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And on that note, guys, if you've enjoyed the video, like it, it's free. Subscribe to see more of my content. Again, I talk about whiskey and books, but for now, my friends, you know what to do. I hope you're reading something good and drinking something great and wearing that damn hat. Cheers.